I thought I'd bring early Stu's back at the bench, mainly because obviously with December it's normally a roundup of all the builds that most us modelers do. So I've brought it forward a month. So this is going to be Stu's back at the bench for November, December 2018. And as we all know, we're coming up to the 100th anniversary of the end of the World War One on November the 11th, which will be, I think, the weekend coming, and also we've got Telford coming up in just around about a week's time. Well, at the end of this week actually. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to get there this year due to family issues, and well, I'm also taking a very dear friend of mine to the Christmas party this year, and it was a case of either weighing that up and going to Telford, and I couldn't afford to do the both of them. So she's been a very good friend to me this year when it's been tough. In fact, she's a very remarkably caring young woman, one of the best friends I've ever had, and for a young woman of her age, of the age of 24, quite a remarkable young woman. And I am going to put a shout out. It's my good friend Brittany Abinader. It's, as I say, it's been a tough year, but that kid has been there every time I've needed her. And I thought, you know, to show my appreciation, I would take her to the staff Christmas party. So there you go, Britt. She's probably sitting there going, oh, for God's sake, I've done nothing. You have. You've been there. And that's what means the most. Alright. Anyway, moving on. What I'll do first is just basically see what acquisitions I've actually got through over the last month. I have had an extensive clear out of my stash this week because space was becoming a premium. Yeah, so you know, you got to weigh up your options. However, I'm just going through what is here. First off, we've got the Hunting Percival Airfix Jet Profis T4 in 1/72. It is a retool. Basically, it's a smashing looking little kit. I mean, I've seen one of these, in fact I saw a recent model show one of these built up, and it looks super. And a fellow modeller of mine, Dan Scattergood, did one as part of the RAF 100, I think, group build. And it looks super, so that's basically what I like. And I love this red scheme of the old Red Pelicans. Very iconic jet training aircraft. Served the Air Force in good stead for a many number of years, up until I think around about 1986, I think. And it's a smashing little kit. Next up is Edouard's Fokker E11 Eindecker. It was the first monoplane that was used during the First World War, which is very apt because obviously we're coming up to the 100th anniversary of the armistice. Had a sort of stopping system with the propeller where the machine gun could fire through it. So, and it was a very adaptable fighter. And the kit itself is very, very nicely moulded. And I should look forward to building that. And then we've got here a very iconic fighter of the RAF, Airfix's English Electric Lightning F2A in 1/72. I've had a quick look at this. It is a gem of a kit. I have been told it's got a few fit issues. I'll possibly get some little bit of aftermarket just to, you know, upgrade the cockpit a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to make a good build. Next one is of a naval theme. This is the Type 23 German submarine U-boat. It's a little bit basic, probably a very quick build. In scale 1/144th, which is a bit bigger than the last sub I did. But I'm quite looking forward to actually doing this one, particularly with all the weathering, so it gives me a little bit more practice. next one I got from my brother. It's IBG Models Scammell Pioneer R100 artillery tractor. I know Sebastian Tuve has built one. I think he's built one. And it actually builds into a very superb kit. Then this is Rayleigh Beast. Yes, it's the Hobby Boss Merkava Mark III-D. Again, you've got a little bit of edge brass in it. Mighty Beast. Again, the weathering is going to be quite interesting on this, and I might do a little vignette as though it's out in the Sinai Desert, so that will be interesting. Number 2 Russian aircraft. Italer's 172nd Su-27 Flanker. An aircraft I particularly is a favourite of mine. I've seen these perform at Farnborough, and they do things you just couldn't do with a big 30-ton aircraft. But yeah, that should be a build for next year. And alongside it, I've got Italer's Sukhoi Su-34-32 FN. And yeah, that's a beast. I saw that fly at Farnborough as well, and by God, does that thing go. Very manoeuvrable, awesome looking aircraft, and it should build into a very good kit. And I've got a set of figures, which might be for a build next year, possibly. Mini Arts British Soldier Tank Riders, and I've got a little Matilda, which I could probably use. So they may go in addition to it. And then we've got ICM's Soviet I-153 Chaika. Now I think I reviewed this kit some time ago. If you look back on my channel, it does look a super little kit. It will go alongside the other Polikarpov that I've got with the single wing monoplane. I've forgotten what the number is. Very, very nicely. An old one, but a good one. Now, I'm not sure if I put this on the last update, but I'm going to put it through again, is Tamiya's classic Mitsubishi A6M3 Fighter Hamp with the short stubby wings. This is the scheme I might go for. I think it was one that was based in the Aleutians, so it should make an interesting project. And then, final one of my kits is this one, which came out recently, which is Eduard's Typhoon Mark 1B limited edition. I'll probably do an in-box review of this because it comes with all the resin, everything. And I think the actual kit is based on the old Hasegawa one. This scheme I particularly like as well. And then finally, I've actually got some bandages in, which I'm going to use for my V1 Dio, which has been sitting on the shelf for the best part of a year. That is probably going to be, well, my first project of the year to get completed next year. I know it was going to be part of the Warren Blanche tribute buddy build, which has now ended, and I do feel a bit ashamed that I've not actually got it finished, but it is going to be a shelf queen that I will be battling on with in the new year. So there you go. And that's basically it for the acquisition side of things. Build wise, well, as you well know, I'm doing the Wittmann Cursed Tiger. I've got to this stage with it so far. Admittedly, I haven't sort of touched it in the last 3 weeks. That is going to be remedied today because I've now got a week off and I can get back on with the project. But I just thought I'd show you the progress. As you can see, it's got its base colours down. Detail paintwork is done, and the camo has been done with Tamiya's Dunkelgelb and Olive Green. I actually got the camo spot on this time because normally I get a lot of overspray, and I've got the tip from my brother basically telling me to get the PSI down to around about 10. Now, I actually settled for about 12 on the camo, and it's come out an absolute treat. So from now on in, that's what I'm going to be doing when it comes to German armour camo, or any camo for that matter. I'm just going to set, well, excuse the drill out there, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're digging up the drains or something, I don't know, so bear with me on that. As you can see, it's come up a tree. I've got all the tracks painted in Tamiya's dark iron, along with the towing cables, which you can see there. Okay, and obviously you've got the ammunition box, which is painted. All the tools are done from an AK paint range. And the interior, well, it's just a bit of artistic license. I used Tamiya's interior green. I did do some reference photos from a museum piece, so whether it's accurate or not is by the by. I know all the rivet counters say, no, it's a light cream. Well, I didn't have anything near that, and that was the nearest, so tough. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with the progress on this project so far. I'm hoping to crack on a lot more with it this week while I'm off. The figures, well, I'm in the midst of still getting them painted, as you can see here. Used on the main sort of machine gun crew, mainly Tamiya paints, and a little mixture of this set, the German Field Grey set. Now, with the crew figures, I've only got the base colour down for their, I think what they used to call, oh god, what was their name? Splinter Scheme, or Splitter Muster Scheme, which they had, and I think, if I've got the box here, this is what I'm on about, this scheme, because it would be authentic to the Kursk period, as it were. So there you go. This is from the set that my good friend Rick Connell sent me, which is Dragon 6214, Panzer Crew LH Division, Russian 1943. So there you go. So thanks for that, buddy. I've also got another project on the go. Oh, by the way, I nearly forgot, all the tracks are done in dark iron as well, which is a tip I learnt off of Steve Mottram from Motty's Models. So there you go, that's that done. Wheels are in the process of being done. I've just got to touch up the tyres on them with a black, and then it's a case of getting on with this project. And oh yeah, another thing I nearly forgot, the base is done, as you can see here. It's come out really well. I'm really pleased with it. Basically what I used was just an old picture frame which I got from the old Poundland shop, which is now Pound World. Mask it off with gaff tape, which I learned from Carl of Making Models, where he does his diorama bases, or vignette bases, as this one is. Then put down some Tamiya non-crack filler. Let that dry for about 24 hours. Well, I'll let it medium dry, and then I'll just use some DS tracks to make the track impression of the Tiger. And then it fully dry for 24 hours before basically priming it down with UMP primer. Black primer, which is this one here, which basically is made by Steinerez, but I'm subcontracted under Ultimate Primer, Ultimate Modelling Products. And I heartily recommend this because it really does lay down well. And then it was a case of outlining where the grass and the track were going with Tamiya's olive green and buff. And then basically after that, oh no, sorry, I got that round the wrong way. Then it was putting the, what was it? This stuff down, which is medium Woodland Scenics ballast with their glue. Let that dry for 24 hours, and then went over with the paint to mark out the areas for the grass and the track, and then just basically used Woodland Scenics glue again, and put down the light grass, green grass flock of theirs, and then just oversprayed it with a bit of glue just to seal it in, let it dry for about 24 hours. Unmasked it all from the gaff tape, and there you are, Bob's your uncle, there's your base. Okay, now the other project I'm doing, I've got the base done for this. I've just basically put down the poly filler, and that's done. Also, 6 pounder gun, well, this is the progress of it so far, which is Tamiya's old set. The base colour is down on the gun itself. I've nearly finished painting the figures, and then it will be onto the vignette base. Now I'm going to do it as a typical scene in a sort of a Normandy country road track with hedges either side and a tree. I would show you the picture, which I'll probably do in another update some other time. Alright, so basically that's as far as I've got with my builds. Now, before I go, we had a bit of a family emergency last night. My mum was taken ill. I got a phone call from my brother's partner, Debbie, to say that she was having breathing difficulties. And needless to say, that was a damn big worry for me at work yesterday, but my work colleagues allowed me to take the phone down just in case there was calls, which I appreciate, guys, really do. I appreciate all your support yesterday. But just to let you know, what's happened is that the doctor came over last night and basically assessed my mum, and it would turn out it was a case she's got an irregular heartbeat from possible damage from a heart attack she had about 8 years ago. As we speak, she is being referred to the surgery, and possibly they're going to get her in to have an echocardiogram to see where the damage may be, and it might be a case that she's going to have to be monitored a little bit more closely from now on in, and they'll have to reassess her medication. But the good news is it isn't life-threatening. So you know, it's just a case of work in progress. She's a tough old bird, I'll tell you that now. But, you know, it's just a case she's got to be very, very careful, not run about so much, you know, because she does have a habit of doing that, bless her. But yeah, she's going to be okay. It's just a case I think they're going to have to reassess how she's medicated and take it from there on in. Okay, guys. So there you go, that's it for this Stu's Back on the Bench for November, December. I will possibly do further updates on my builds, possibly later this week whilst I'm off. And then what we'll do for December is just a roundup of all my completed builds. So there you go. Anyway, until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.